So I want to talk today about a phrase or hashtag that has been going around that, quite frankly, disturbs me, and that is advice to stay in and do nothing, or stay in and watch Netflix. I think this is the wrong message that we should be portraying to youth, the people we work with, elderly, and pretty much all of society. Of course, the stay in part is absolutely critical to help us fight this invisible enemy. But the do nothing part is, I think, exactly the opposite of what we should be doing in these kind of new environments. I know from my lab, it's been about 2.5, 3 weeks now since we've started this new journey, and one of the challenges that we face is with motivation, adapting to this new way of staying productive, where we don't have each other to boost us at work through encouraging words and group activities. And so it can be very difficult to be productive at work, but one of the biggest risks I think that we face and the whole society faces as we do our part in this house arrest is that it can have a significant impact on our health and the long-term consequences if we simply stay home and do nothing. Where do we begin? Well, we're going to begin with a new hashtag that I've coined, Stay In and Work Out. And I think that's really the motto that we should be telling people that are healthy enough to work out and stay fit, because developing a sedentary lifestyle has a lot of negative consequences, including obesity, heart disease, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and all these things, of course, can have a negative impact on many organs of your body, including your brain. So we want to make sure that we don't develop any bad habits as this thing is prolonged more and more weeks. It's looking like months now. We come out of this in a somewhat relatively improved state, both mentally and physically. Now, why is it so challenging? Well, first, as I said, I think part of it is just the motivation of not having people around you is quite difficult, but also some of the activities that keep us in shape on a year-to-year basis really begin around this time. I know this is the time that I get many calls from my close friends to go on runs by the boardwalk or the waterfront, and that's really what keeps me running year long. The person I run with is actually quite faster than me, so when we run, it'd be considered social distancing anyways. But make no mistake, being a competitive person, I train during the year knowing that those runs are not only just a chance to have some friendly discussion, but also a chance to push each other to our absolute highest capabilities. It's also the same time that I started playing tennis with my father. It's an amazing bonding experience. Tennis is perhaps one of the biggest joys in my life, and I enjoy sharing that with my father. And part of the motivation there is, of course, helping him stay active at his older age. For students, this is the same time when there's new intramural activities, outside group sporting activities. I know when I was an undergrad, this was a time when we would take our vacation as a family. So of course we would take care of our health and our fitness better, knowing that we're going to go to a beach. So there's a lot of these factors that are motivating us to stay healthy and get healthy after a long winter that are now have been wiped away with the social isolation. And of course, going to the gym is obviously quite challenging, as it is one of the areas that has been deemed high risk and is not an option to many people. So we need to find new ways to meet these requirements within the confines of our own home. And I'll tell you some of the ways that I've been doing this over the last couple of years and trying to really optimize it now in this new environment. So first, make no mistake, the most important thing in health is eating right. And some of the challenges, of course, that house arrest brings is that as someone that spends most of their time in the kitchen, it's very, very tempting to eat differently than I would when I'm at work. So one of the things that I've really developed the last time I've been at home for an extended period of time, which was the last summer as a student in 2016, when I had about a 2.5 week Christmas break, was I adopted this lifestyle known as intermittent fasting, where you fast 16 hours of the day, and then you try to eat within an 8-hour window. And we have a video about intermittent fasting and the positive effects of intermittent fasting on the brain on the channel that I encourage you to watch. But this has really revolutionized my ability to maintain a healthy body weight as I've aged, as I've grown older, and it's really transformational both from a physical and mental point of view. So obviously don't start any diet that you haven't experimented with before without talking to a healthcare professional, but at least this diet has worked for me quite well. What I've been doing during this stay-at-home process is trying to better optimize it to try to see if I can narrow my window. So I try to wake up and drink a lot of black coffee, a lot of carbonated water, and try to extend my breakfast from or delay it from 9 or 10 a.m., which is what normal people would have breakfast, to about 1 p.m. And the beauty of staying at home is, or having reduced hours, is that I'm now able to plan to have my dinner much earlier. So I try to wrap up dinner around 6:30, so I have a 5 to 6 hour eating window, and I think that's really helped me become more motivated and more productive in terms of work, just because of the positive mental effects of intermittent fasting. So I urge everyone to think about eating healthier. Whether intermittent fasting is for you or not, that's very difficult for me to say, but we can always improve our diet, and when you improve your diet, I think most people also benefit mentally. In terms of exercising, one of the other habits I've really adopted probably last year, but I've been doing it actually my whole life, and then I had a pause, but I readopted last year, was doing some sort of exercise as soon as I get out of bed. And for the last 2 years, that has been push-ups. So very classic exercise, works your arms, your chest, important muscles for tennis and for many kind of physical activities that I participate in. And what I find is that if you can get this done before you start your day, the chances that you'll skip a day or two and then develop a bad habit when you won't do it for an extended period of time, it's much less. So at least as of January 1st, I have done push-ups every single day this year. So when I wake up, I'm still tired, but I kind of roll to the side of the bed and start doing my push-ups. And after these are done, I've not only woken up, but 3 or 4 minutes into my day, I've already secured some sort of physical activity. And this is infectious. Usually when I do these, more often than not, it'll motivate me to jump on the treadmill or go for a run, which I would normally have not. So I encourage you to try to do, even if it's a few minutes a day, something that you can do consistently will help get you on a routine that will help jumpstart something more physically intensive later on in the day. To that point, some great things you can do at home as well is YouTube. There's a lot of YouTube fitness channels that I've tried over the last 2 weeks. There's one called The Body Coach that has a kind of different levels of fitness where you can do 15-20 minutes of high intensity interval training and really build up a sweat in the small confines of a living room. So if you're running out of things to do or activities to do, maybe running outside is not your thing, you live in a dangerous neighborhood with tons of cars, I think YouTube and home exercise in the gym are going to be something that is going to extremely explode from our experience with this virus. So it's a good time to look around. We're going to put the link for the body coach down below. We're also going to hopefully bring a personal coach, self-motivator, and kind of life coach onto the channel to give us his perspectives of what we can be doing in these kind of new times to stay motivated and stay healthy. Again, this is an important thing that we need to do. We don't know how long this self-isolation period is going to last. Of course, the longer we stay isolated, the safer we're keeping our frontline workers. Again, thank you very much to all those people manning the stores, the hospitals, that are really making sure that we're staying safe while taking a huge risk. So we want to stay home, but we definitely don't want to do nothing. So I've started this hashtag just to help you remember it. StayInWorkOut. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're going stir crazy, because we're in this for the long haul. And if you have any other ideas of how we can get through this and grow during this period, I'd love to hear your comments down below. And in one of the future episodes, we'll talk more about staying motivated and how you can stay motivated and productive in your kind of work life as well. So hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And we'll catch you at the next one.